The Bonanza Biodiversity Corridor is located along Bonanza Creek, which drains from Summit Lake to the north end of Slocan Lake. It is an ecologically diverse area that includes wetlands, floodplains, steep mountain slopes, and rugged subalpine peaks. The corridor is considered to be an important cross-valley habitat linkage for grizzly bears and other wide-ranging wildlife. An abundance of species have been identified in the corridor, including numerous rare and threatened plants, birds, mammals, and invertebrates. The Bonanza Corridor is bisected by an old abandoned CPR railway that was constructed over 100 years ago. The railway ran parallel to Bonanza Creek. The Slocan Lake Stewardship Society, in conjunction with the Okanagan Nation Alliance, are working to restore wetlands and improve hydraulic connections along the old rail line. The first year of the project is focused on creating restoration plans for three main areas: Summit Lake, Upper Bonanza Creek, and Hunter Siding. Approximately 700 meters of the historic railway passed through a large wetland complex at the southeast end of Summit Lake. Large portions of the section flood and erode each spring, predominantly due to beaver activity and changes to the hydraulic flow patterns. This section is an integral part of the annual western toad migration from Summit Lake, with many thousands of toadlets migrating along and across the rail trail. The restoration objectives for Summit Lake are to reduce flooding and erosion of the rail trail, manage the hydraulic connectivity between the upstream and downstream areas, keep recreational trail users out of the wetland area, and reduce sediment entering the downstream aquatic environments. The conceptual design involves two main elements: repairing and raising the rail trail bed to allow for dry recreational use, and creating managed drainage under the rail trail at several locations. The Upper Bonanza Creek project is a 2.9-hectare wetland and riparian area along Bonanza Creek. Roughly 1.5 kilometers of old railbed pass through this area, with large portions bisecting active floodplains. The floodplain area is predominantly alder, willow, and red osier dogwood swamp and floodplain communities. The primary restoration objective is to hydraulically reconnect all areas of the floodplain that are isolated from Bonanza Creek's surface flows. In order to reduce the impact the rail trail alignment has had on creek planform, short sections of rail trail will be removed by excavation. Removed sections will be located in areas that will allow the river to laterally migrate over time in sections where the floodplain has been bisected. The second restoration objective is to enhance and restore fish habitat in the creek that is degraded because of the rail trail alignment. In order to increase hydraulic diversity and to provide additional habitat for fish, large organic debris in the form of coniferous trees will be installed in the water column at several locations. This technique is widely used and has a proven track record for improving fish habitat, especially for juvenile fish. The 2.3-hectare area, locally known as Hunter Siding, occupies the lowest elevation of a large wetland complex that extends from Bonanza Creek to the edge of Highway 6, including large areas of shrub and forest swamps, beaver ponds, multiple permanent and intermittent watercourses, and small fens and marshes. This area is a modified wetland that has multiple old drainage channels, indicating that it was historically cleared and drained, likely for agricultural purposes. The objective of this project is to recreate the wetland communities that are known to occur in the area: cedar skunk cabbage swamps and alder ladyfern swamps. The conceptual design for Hunter Siding focuses on creating the physical and ecological conditions that will result in two types of swamps that naturally occur in the local area. Project construction is anticipated to start in the late summer to early fall of 2020. The project will involve the use of excavators to create small mounds and depressions to replicate forested swamps and place large woody debris to provide complex habitat. Over 1,000 locally sourced native shrubs will then be planted throughout the site. Two other projects were initiated in the Bonanza Corridor in 2019: beaver mapping and assessment and old growth mapping and assessment. The objective of the Beaver Mapping and Assessment Project is to inventory and map all wetlands and structures, identifying lodges and estimating occupied and unoccupied beaver habitats to develop a plan for beaver restoration where appropriate. The project will also lead to an incorporation of current and historic beaver use in the wetland enhancement projects. Initial surveys have been completed to locate beaver dams and lodges in the corridor. In 2020, a population study using wildlife cameras will begin, and detailed mapping of active and inactive beaver lodges and dams will be completed. The objective of the Old Growth Mapping and Assessment Project is to complete ecosystem mapping of the Bonanza Corridor to identify and map all ecosystem types, structural stage, and conditions as per provincial mapping methodologies. To achieve this objective, we have initiated terrestrial ecosystem mapping of the study area. Ecosystem mapping is a standardized method for ecological classification. It uses the provincial biogeoclimatic ecosystem classification to describe the type and extent of ecosystems within a defined study area. Initial bioterrain mapping has been completed for the corridor, with fieldwork planned for 2020 to ground truth the mapping and complete a comprehensive inventory of all ecosystem types.